A new Kenya. A new Kenya.
This is a new Kenya.
We are following the constitution. But there is a very big front over there. They took the signs down. I know you need us to yeah, you say something, President gets you. That I know, President will come over here to do that.
Right, the pictures that you are seeing there are the ongoing peaceful demonstrations where the demonstrators are today occupying the parliament buildings, as you can see there, to protest against an attempt by members of parliament to arm twist the Salaries and Remuneration Commission into yielding to the members of parliament demands for indefinitely higher pay. Now, this act of occupying parliament by the members of the public is seen as one to symbolize the power and preeminence of the public over persons who are holding elective office. The pictures you're seeing there, of course, are security officers. They have also carried in their live pigs and piglets, and there is something that looks sort of like blood around the entrance of Parliament. Earlier on, a member of Parliament tried to gain access into the same venue and was denied that access. Tear gas canisters have been fired there to try to disperse the crowd. Water cannons have also been used to try and disperse the crowd, but they are seemingly not relenting, because they argue that in the recent past, the local members of parliament have made concerted attempts to try and regulate and increase the salaries, and also to usurp the SRC mandate of regulating salaries and apportioning the national wage budget across the public sector. So they are saying that at some point the members, they think they tried to disband the SRC, and leading to that, they argue that this is the reason why the Sarem Commission decided to award the MPs a tax-free grant of about 5 million shillings each for the purchase of vehicles. And of course, yesterday, Sarem was able to say that negotiations are still ongoing, but also saying that they will not be boxed into a corner. Some of the objectives of this operation, Occupy Parliament as it is called, they are saying that they're using the power of numbers to seek to give Kenyans the courage to defend their constitution, which Parliament has endeavored to overthrow by threatening to disband a commission, constitutionally established body. I beg your pardon. And the pictures again, you can see there, that is one of the water cannons that was being used to disperse the members of the parliament. There you can see, of course, there it is. The pictures you're seeing there, water being used to disperse the members of the public, rather, right over there. Let's just listen in just a bit to it, see if we can get something from it.
There's no need, sir. No need. This direction.
These people, they should know that all sovereign powers belong to the people of Kenya. All sovereign powers belong to the people of Kenya and shall be all sovereign powers belong to the people of Kenya.
Right, you continue to see there the pictures of the Occupy Parliament movement, that is the civil society protesting against the members of Parliament's salary demands, their efforts being made to have them evacuate or rather disband from that premises. As you can see there, they carried live pigs and they were calling the members of Parliament M-pigs. So there are shots there of pigs and piglets that are at the scene of the crime. And of course, just one of the other objectives here is that they're saying that they want to make the members of Parliament aware that the days of parliamentary dictatorship are over. And they're saying that members of Parliament cannot and must not be self-regulating. And they argue that the members of Parliament must be answerable to the people. And again, the heavy security presence that is over there at the Parliament buildings, of course, that road being blocked and cordoned off by the police as they continue to try and get the public out there, out of that venue. They also want to send the message to the members of Parliament that no one is above the law, and they're also seeking to instill a sense of accountability to persons who hold office. The argument there being that at the end of the day, it must be borne in mind that even public officers who make the law are also subject to that law. We have reporters on the ground. Sylvia Chebet and Esther Kahumbi are on the ground along with the crew there of Citizen Television. We are now going to take you to them to just give you a bit of what is happening in the ground here from the communication studio. I hand you to Sylvia Chebet, who is there.
Na msikilizaji, umesikia hapo hivyo kwamba vurugu kidogo ni kwamba maafisa wa kutuliza hali ni kwamba kidogo wanazidi kuruka zile tear gas wakijaribu kuwafurusha, lakini bado wamesalia hapa hivi waandamanaji. Kidogo tukiendelea mbele, bwana Morris, hii ni hali ambayo inaona hapa hivi maafisa wa usalama wanajaribu kuwafurusha. Mnachukuliaje hali hii?
Hii hali tunaichukulia vibaya zaidi kwa sababu tunajua kwamba mwananchi yuko na haki ya kufanya maandamano. Sisi tulikuja hapa mwendo wa saa 4 bila kuleta fujo yoyote, tulikuwa watulivu, tumefanya maandamano yetu. Imefika wakati hata tukaweza kufanya zile shughuli zilituleta hapa, kwa mfano kuwaingilia ndani zile pigs ambazo tulikuwa nazo, tumeweza kuwapatia petition. Kwa hiyo tunashangaa kwamba hawa ni watu ambao wanapata information ya aina gani, labda hawaelewi kwamba kutakatika ambayo inapatia mwananchi uwezo wa kuweza kuambatana na kufanya shughuli. Kwa hiyo kile tunasema sisi
parliament protest seems to be getting better there, at least in the eyes of the protesters. We've got the tear gas canisters, water cannons, the works, and I'm told the pigs are still come and collected at the doorstep of Parliament. We've been covering this event with Esther Kahumbi. Esther, it's been quite a day, hasn't it?
It has been, Sylvia, and we started the protesters very early in the morning at about 10. They started from the Freedom Corner, coming all the way to Tom Mboya, where they held prayers, and now they're at Parliament. It's getting uglier by the minute, and the protesters insisting that they will not disperse. They remain adamant that they have to have their voice heard, insisting that any MP who enters Parliament has to sign a petition that they won't clamor for the new salaries. We have Professor Yashpal Guy, who has been here since morning. He's one of those who taken in the tear gas that is being thrown at the protesters. Just what are your thoughts on how the protest is going, and why did you feel the need to be here, Professor?
Well, I came here this morning with many other Kenyans to protest against the big salary that parliamentarians are asking, and against their threat to dismiss the Salaries Commission. We have been sitting very peacefully. We have promised the police there won't be any violence. We've been discussing politics, and then suddenly, after 2 hours, we were sitting quietly chatting, not harming anyone. They brought these water tanks. They had these smoke bombs, and they inflicted that on peaceful citizens. And then they brought soldiers on horses and vehicles. We believe that some of the water that was sprayed on us had some acid, and we can feel burn on our skin. And this is not the way to behave in a democratic country. There was no threat to the government, no threat to anyone. We were acting fully in accordance with the Constitution, which everybody pays lip service to. For me, this is one of the saddest days as a Kenyan. I have lived in many countries. I have seen many disturbances, attempts to break it up. I have not seen this kind of brutality on people who are completely innocent and not forwarding their own agenda, but looking to the interests of ordinary Kenyans. And that this should happen so few weeks after the elections, when all kinds of promises were made to Kenyans about looking after their interests, about democracy, about development, human rights. And the first opportunity they have when they assemble is to totally betray the people who elected them. So I think it's a very sad day for Kenya.
If I can cut in, Mr. Guy, some people think that the county assembly representatives actually may have some sense in their clamor for a pay hike compared to the members of parliament. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I think it depends very much on what role we see for county assembly members, whether they are full-time members devoting all their time and efforts to governance, or as the case was with old county councils, Nairobi City Council. Members are part-time. They pursue other careers. They don't need to meet as often as Bunge. But certainly I think one needs to look at their complaints, and as indeed we can look at the complaints of parliamentarians, but we have to do it in a proper way. If we start using this degree of coercion, we are going to scare away investors who the government seems to love. We are going to create a lot of disharmony in our society. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yashpal Guy. The street seems to have, rather the protest seems to have died down at this point, although we can still see people milling around there. We did see a few moments ago somebody, it's like being escorted to the it's called the parliamentary police cell. Yes.
And what's interesting is that even as the protesters dispersed, the people remain the very simplest that were left. They look like they're quite at home there.
Yeah, you're right, Esther.
The protesters, though it's quieting down, they still mill around the presence of parliament. They insist that this will not end until the MPs get in touch with what the Mwananchi is saying on the ground, and that is there are far more important issues to be addressed. We remember President Uhuru Kenyatta just this weekend at the burial of the late Senator Mutula Kilonzo did caution MPs against what looks like selfishness, their need to, or their eagerness to get rid of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, insisting that they violated the law when they were setting these salaries for the members of parliament. And apart from the president, the commission seems to have acquired support from the public also. It started on social media, Occupy Parliament, and now they're on the streets insisting that this will not end until the MPs hear what the Mwananchi is saying. Sylvia?
It's amazing, Esther. The pigs don't seem to feel this tear gas. It leaves a burning sensation in your eyes, inside your nostrils. It's weird that they're still just licking the blood on the front door, or should I say the doorstep of Parliament.
Like I said, they look like they're quite at home. The symbolism for the pigs, the protesters say it's an animal known to be
very greedy.
Yeah. And that's what the protesters are calling the MPs.
Rather that we've learned or heard from the Bible and what people say, we don't know for sure.
Yeah. So really, we wait to see how this goes. The protesters still on the streets, although the numbers have reduced quite a bit. Police still around the area with tear gas.
I'm worried though, Esther. Every time those water tanks disappear, they've gone to should you say refuel? Refill. They look like they've gone to refill, but and already I can hear some gunshots coming from some direction. I don't know where.
I heard professors say the water is laced with some sort of acid. The water on their skin are already itching. We've seen some of the protesters retreat for some
to go and cool themselves down. But I hear it actually makes the water makes it even worse. Some people, I've seen people trying to put water on their faces, but right after that, eyes just become bloody red.
Yesterday we saw the Salaries and Remuneration Commission come out